What's up, Sagittarius? Welcome to your 2026 full year forecast. There's a lot of things going on this year, and I'm going to explain them month by month. And I'm going to go over the most important transits and ingresses and also aspects that I found this year. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe because this year I'm trying to make my dreams a reality. And share this video if it's helpful for you. And if you can help me do that, Sagittarius, that will be great. Thank you so much. And let's get started. So January 2026, Neptune is going to enter into Aries, which is your fifth house. And this is going to bring you a lot of heightened intuition. Neptune is going to be at 0 degrees, and it's going to inspire a lot of creativity. Like, there's no one that's going to be more creative than you. This can spark a new romance. This can get you to dive into new personal projects. It can even kind of get you to dive into what fun actually is, where it can cause a lot of like delusions and confusions. Like, if you've been doing something like for the last 14 years that you thought was fun, this is a time where you're having a fresh start, a new beginning to actually turn your fun into like a body of work. There are going to be like, artistic visions and dreams that are really powerful, and they're going to require for you to have grounding. So you want to avoid idealizing partners and projects, and integrate your imagination with practical action. In February 2026, Saturn is going to enter into Aries, which is your fifth house as well. And Saturn is bringing that discipline aspect, the structure to your creativity, the responsibility that you hold when you're in romantic partnerships. Excuse me, even like your creative projects or children or your joy, like there's a patience that you must have with yourself and others. And long-term projects, you can now see that the effort that you have put in, it's going to require for you to actually be patient and show up and do day-to-day activity. You can have you can become more serious about your children and about their future, when it comes to like things that we find joy in, like our extracurricular activities. It could be singing, it could be dancing, it could be taking, a class, a dancing class. It could be anything that we express our creativity or ourself. These are things that's going to be heightened, and Saturn and Neptune really want you to merge your vision with structure and like this practical discipline that's going to support your artistic, even your romantic goals as well. That's where the Saturn and Neptune conjunct at the 0 degree in your fifth house, and Aries also in February is going to bring to you, it wants you to have patience with what you're trying to create or bring into this world, even having patience with yourself, have patience with your children, but don't forget to use your imagination because that can solve a lot of problems. The fifth house is the house of Dharma, so it's bringing you things that, I won't say that it's karmically bringing you things, but it is okay to have fun. It is okay to have fun with your children. You just have to do practical steps in order to bring these things into life. There's going to be a solar eclipse in February, and this is going to be your natal third house because it's going to be in Aquarius. And here we have like there's beginnings in or this is trying to solidify some type of communication, some type of learning, travel, local connections. There are opportunities that are going to arise with the solar eclipse in order for you to expand your knowledge, in order for you to like strengthen community ties or strengthen ties with, your siblings. Your siblings could be, getting married, or something big is happening within their life, or, that kind of changes your life and the way that you communicate with them. You may need to be there for your siblings if you have siblings. If you don't, it could be your community. It could be the way that you're approaching different like mental formulas in order to like articulate your idea. Something brings newness with the solar eclipse that really changes and switches your consciousness in some way. March 2026, there's going to be a lunar eclipse in Virgo, and Virgo is your 10th house. So there is a combination in career. This can be pretty emotional. You letting something go, or letting bosses or nitpicky people that you work with, or even yourself, go, and just trying to attune to your own authority in this world. There could be recognition, there could be closure, and there could be like this transformation in your professional life, even in your life as a, like, wherever your life is headed. These are the things that can occur in your life, something that transforms you. Excuse me. Eclipse season is truly, excuse me again, eclipse season is truly like life changing. The first couple of months, February, March, your life is going to shift drastically. And I'm not saying that you have to catch up with it, even though you will catch up with it, but it can be an ending of some type of relationship. It can be an ending of some type of mental formula, but it's ultimately trying to free you or free up some space for the next half of the year. So Saturn is going to sextile Pluto in your fifth house, your third to fifth house. And so here Saturn is trying to bring a supportive structure, through transformation and romance and personal self-expression and transformation, in the way that you speak, in the way that you communicate, in the way that you think, in the way that you relate to relationships and relate to children and relate to your inner joy. Saturn is asking you to take your joy very seriously, and take the truth, like what actually makes you truthfully, joyful, and do those things. In April 2026, Uranus is going to enter Gemini, and Gemini is your seventh house. And so there are breakthroughs in partnerships and sudden changes. You could get married, you can split from a relationship, you can have collaborations, you can work with someone, like something deepens. But what that something is the knowledge and wisdom of the relationship deepens. It can be like friends going to now companions, like friends and the people that you talk to, they really like hold a lot of wisdom for you, or they mirror something back to you that's pretty useful. So you really want to expect the unexpected in one-on-one companionships. Be open to flexibility and innovation in these long-term relationships and contracts. In May 2026, Pluto is going to go retrograde in your third house in Aquarius. Pluto is trying to get you to speak from a place of knowing, from a place of power, from a place of like, what's going on around you. It's trying to show you that things that you speak really require this deep introspection, even around like some type of domestic matters. Like these are really, really necessary. I think that communication, like regarding the home, regarding what do you call that? Like resources, possessions, anything that means like something to you, but you're doing like cars, the things that you possess, right? These are the things that need reassessment. However, Pluto is a destroyer, so definitely be careful at what you say, what you buy, what you spend your time doing, who you are around. I think that communication is something that can bring you a lot of truth. And so the Pluto retrograde, you definitely want to assess what's going on. There can be sudden shifts and sudden revelations around that time in May. In June 2026, Uranus is going to square the North Node. And so Uranus is in your seventh house. And, you know, squares bring up challenges, Sagittarius, and there can be a challenge in like personal identity with like the way that you express yourself in relationships. There could be unexpected events that really the prompt reflection and growth. You know, who we choose to have in our life is really important, for the future, especially, as time goes on in long periods of time, they really are pumping information in our brain, or they're mirroring something back to us. You could want freedom during this time. That, this can bring up challenges, because it's almost like you're being stopped from your destiny, like, you feel like very delayed in some type of way. Mercury is going to go retrograde in Cancer also, and that's going to be in your 8th house. And so with Mercury going retrograde, it's getting Mercury is really trying to investigate in the 8th house. So it's trying to get down to, your psychological mind, your trust issues that you may have. It's trying to promote some type of higher learning or new philosophy, like in your life, or new emotional pattern. And there could be misunderstandings and delays. Patience is definitely key here. In the 8th house, you do not want to sign anything. You don't want to make really big decisions, because your emotions could be really clouded and under observation by you, by others. You may not be getting across what you really need to get across in June. The communication is going to be very funky. I think you're going to be speaking from a place of heightened emotion, but also, you believing that it's intuition, but it could be, like your subconscious mind playing patterns with you, or you're just basing things based off of the past. Like your emotion about it is not really stable. So definitely, use that time to take some time to review how you truly feel. So in July 2026, Jupiter is going to enter into Leo, and Jupiter is the planet of expansion. It is your ruler. So it's going to be in your natal 9th house. And there's a lot of growth, because you're ruled by the 9th house as well. And you are expecting a lot of opportunities when it comes to learning, maybe going back to school, maybe traveling somewhere, maybe publishing a book. There's a lot of spiritual exploration that you're going to experience, because long-term horizons are going to widen, they're going to open for you. It's going to become more fun. You're going to find more joy in learning and more joy in other places besides like where you are. Your the way that you perceive life is going to change, and it's going to shift, and it's going to become bigger. I think you're going to learn a lot about yourself and a lot about the world that we live in. Neptune is going to go retrograde in your natal 5th house. So, you know, Neptune is bringing this reassessment on creativity. Can you do it or not? Is this dream too big? You're really going to be thinking that this dream is too big, but really it's just going to require for you to have clarity. Illusions, they come up in these areas. Even when it comes to romance, Sagittarius. When it comes to romance, when it comes to the decisions that you make about children or your inner child, like they it's going to require for you to see things a little bit clearly, and Neptune can cause confusion. So you have to reassess those things in your life. And I think ultimately, within the 5th house, you're trying to make your dreams a reality, but you have to understand that even if the dream is really, really big, or you feel like, wait, where did I get this idea? There's no way that I can make this happen, that it takes actual time, it takes practical steps to get there. Jupiter is going to oppose Pluto, and again, Jupiter is your ruler, and so it's causing a lot of tension between like your personal beliefs, your education, even long distance travel. Something annoying can really happen, like you lose your passport, or you know you have like really long delays. Mm. A lot of things can happen. We're talking about Pluto because, and Jupiter, because Jupiter is like higher knowledge. It's trying to expand whatever it touches, and it opposing Pluto, it's trying to reveal something. A secret can come out before you, and someone else is going to travel, and it makes you not want to go. Um, I think there needs to be deep introspection and deep transformation that occurs in knowledge and teaching, and you have to balance vision and balance where you're going with um, steps that are actually needed. So that can take you a little bit like back to some type of psychological, um, I think, ache. Like you're really thinking about something that made you, like, you don't want to do something anymore. How can I explain this? It kind of feels like this happened in the past, so I'm not going to do this anymore. Or you get stopped from doing something because you're thinking so much. That one can be a lot because that's a pretty big aspect, because these are, planets that one expands, one destroys. So one is trying to destroy your way of thinking that way. And then one is trying to expand on, yeah, remember that you do think this way because of your experiences or the experiences that you have had. The North Node is going to shift into Aquarius in July as well, and that's your natal third house. And so you are becoming someone who speaks very powerfully about themselves. The North Node in your third house is your soul calling you to become a bridge between, like, taking these vast ideas and spiritual philosophy and cosmic insights that you've carried from past lives, and like grounding them into your everyday world. Sagittarius, you're here to connect, communicate, and uplift through your words and thoughts, and even your community presence and your philosophy to this world. This is not a time where you want to abandon your seeker's vision. It's about like translating it into language that others can understand. When you share your voice, you share your ideas, you become the link between higher truths and this humanoid experience. You are the messenger of the awakened world, or the awakened, like your local world. So you want to speak from a place of truth, from empowerment, from leadership, and that's going to be great for you. And so you're going to be letting go that anything that stops you from doing those things that you're meant to do. And then in August, there's also a solar eclipse. And so the solar eclipse in your natal 10th house, this marks a time of destiny calling you to reset your sense of purpose. It brings this precision, this healing, this refinement to the way that you show up in the world. You're being asked to really purify your ambitions, to take, it's like to trade in being perfect for purpose, and service for status. Like there is a new chapter that is beginning in your direction of this world. It's going to ask you to meet your soul's devotion. The world is watching, but at this time, it's not about proving your worth. It's about, embodying your sense of purpose through integrity and mastery and humility. Expect major changes in your career, your path here, your reputation, your life direction. Whatever you've outgrown is going to fall away, and true calling is going to be formed. This eclipse isn't just about like shifting your job. It kind of redefines who you are within the public eye. And so that's a pretty nice one to have a solar eclipse at in the 10th house. In October, we are having a retrograde in Venus and also in Mercury in the sign of Scorpio, which is your 12th house. It's going to dip into Libra as well, but this is going to heighten your intuition, but in a way that it's trying to have you be, it's trying to psychically detox you. and have an energetic release. You're going to be reviewing past love or karmic ties, or like hidden communication can resurface. It's asking you to surrender control to divine timing, to tuning inward to rediscover your spiritual truth. And in November, when the retrogrades lift, or it goes direct again, you're going to emerge even clearer and lighter and more connected to your soul's like undercurrents, and be ready to speak love, be ready to be loved, and create from a space that is deeply aligned or in tune spiritually for you. Um, Events, because the 12th house has to do with like our subconscious mind, and it has to do with the past. And, even in past lives, like these old relationships or secret desires that you have, or unhealed attachments, they're not trying to haunt you, but they're trying to free you. You may find yourself like revisiting past lovers and dreams, or unfinished emotional business from like other timelines or other lifetimes. And, it's asking you to really confront what's been buried or repressed, Sagittarius, and or left like unspoken. And then in November, yes, you're also gonna have Uranus trining Pluto. And a trine, brings harmonious energy. And so, the seventh house to the third house, I think it has a, it has a lot to do with refining the way that you speak in relationships. You have to not even speak the way you think about it. You have to be very truthful for what's going on, because your purpose is activated. You're speaking from a place of empowerment with that third house, having North Node. And now Uranus has your mind spinning and suddenly changing, on a drop of a dime. You have to embark on some type of harmonious um, speech with the next person. And I think that you're going to be able to see way beneath the surface on the person that you're with or talking to. Like conversations really highlight a lot of truth for you. They go in really deep, and I think you have very, spontaneous conversations. You find yourself in spontaneous places. Maybe you travel, by car, and you meet someone who is spontaneous, like something that you wouldn't have expected though. In December, Saturn and Neptune are going to end their retrograde. And I apologize about the dog barking. It's very annoying. But anyways, there's discipline that's going to return, to you. When Saturn is in retrograde, it kind of eases its pressure and getting like, it wants you to have discipline within your like creative, indulgence, or, whatever your indulgence upon. But if you haven't been, disciplined, while it retrogrades, when it ends, it really shows you where you were lacking, where you need to solidify certain things, where you need to stabilize certain things. And even Neptune has this like, is bringing a lot of clarity back within your vision, to where the direction that you need to go in. You know what you want now, and illusions are dissolving for you and leaving you inspired, and you have practical guidance in order to get them done. You're going to experience this. Your personal freedom, authentic expression is going to be heightened for you. Responsibilities are heightened, but you have the discipline to move forward. The inspiration, the fresh new ideas, the fresh romances, even transformation and evolution in your one-on-one dynamics. Be open to conversation, be open to expanding your horizons, expect the unexpected opportunities, because they're going to encourage growth and learning and spiritual exploration. There's a lot of things that are gonna refine your social connections and your collective goals and your friendships, and all types of different and new things are coming into your life, as well as new children can be coming into your life, or new ways to have fun or new ways you find to experience fun. So this is a great year for you, Sagittarius. I hope that was helpful. Definitely don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Good luck this year. Bye, Sagittarius.